Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here and low ABV jams in the form of Super Freak from Thin Man Brewing. Thin Man, I'm a fan. I've done a couple of their beers, not a ton of them. We actually don't really get any of their beers. I don't know if we do, actually. We might get some of their beers in distro in New Jersey. Actually, that's a lie. We do. I know they do. But I don't see them everywhere. But there's one little shop I know carries their stuff. But they carry a bunch of like unique little kind of jams. And I went in there and I was looking for something. And I wanted something sessionable, wanted something chugger. I saw this. Now, it was in one of those cardboard box containers instead of like a 6-pack holder. So there was no date on there. So I was like, what should I do here? Should I buy it? I bought it. It is packaged in May. So we're in August. We're talking about 3 months. I think we're all right here. Low ABV haze. It was actually a bit over 3 months. So it was May 1st is when I was packaged. So put your dates on the outside of those things. Put dates on everything. That's what I say. And not Best By dates. Canned on dates. Bottle on dates. Anyway. Yeah. So we're talking about a 5.8% hazy IPA. I'm assuming it's a hazy. I should just say India Pale Ale. I haven't even cracked it open yet. And it says here, Thin Man Brewing, Buffalo, New York. Thin Man Brewery, Buffalo, New York. Yeah. It's got this, little Superman kind of thing going on with what looks like kind of Evil Knievel and a Buffalo Superman kind of thing. So, I don't know. Is there Rick James? Is that Rick James then? Maybe? I don't know. Oof Bang. Pow Bam. I like Thin Man, owned by Blue Monk Mike. For those who don't know, Buffalo's always had a really rich kind of craft beer history. And one of the more prominent kind of faces when it comes to beer. It's a hazy. Out that way. Started this brewery. And I've had a bunch of their beers. You know, they're in Buffalo, New York, so they embrace a lot of like the local culture. Buffalo Bills. They have Pils Mafia is one of their beers I reviewed. I dig their stuff quite a bit. Yeah. Likewise, it's alright. You know, it's a little kitschy, but I ain't gonna hate on it. As far as the beer goes, I mean, it looks all the part of a nice, turbid, hazy, low ABV jam. I'm talking to 5.8%. It has a rich kind of turbid straw color to it. It has a index finger of a barely micron off-white head. Nice soapiness to it. Definitely looks the part of a nice little low ABV hazy. Good nose. Citrus. All the citrus belong to us. It really just leans heavily citrus here. We're getting gobs of orange, a grapefruit, not overly a precursor to overly bittering here, not overly pithy. I do think you're going to get in there, but nothing too crazy. Huge pineapple. It's just really leaning heavily into that citrus side of things with this nice kind of, it's going to have a nice little sweetness to it but without being over the top, but I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of balancing bittering to it. It smells quite nice. It doesn't have like a crazy, amazing, over-the-top, robust nose to it, but you're talking about 5.8%. We're eking towards session level here. It smells like a nice little hazy. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's tasty. That is 100% tasty beer. Again, leaning heavily into citrus here. It is all the orange and pineapple. A bit of grapefruit in there. You actually do get a bit of bittering here. A little bit of pithy kind of bittering going on. Much welcome here. And that's just one-sided sweet on sweet on sweet. Even though it's not an overly sweet beer, 5.8%. I would say it's a hair sweeter than what I would prefer, but I would almost like, obviously you want it the way you want it. But, if I'm going to lean in one direction, a little undersweet, a little oversweet when it comes to low ABV haze, I actually do think I like them just a skosh hair sweeter because they tend to be, there's less impact to them. So I like that little bit of sweetness that adds a little bit more kind of volume to the beer. Because it drinks more like a 6 and change % beer as opposed to 5.8. So it's kind of got that check mark going for it. At least on my side, I like them low ABV beers to drink bigger than what they're doing. And this one's definitely hitting above its weight class and just really just leans heavily into that citrus. All the citrus are belong to us. I couldn't really speak to any kind of, you want to squeak out a, some kind of tropical fruit that leans in the citrus realm, sure, fine, whatever. But it's all the citrus belong to us. That soft little fluttering, nothing too crazy, kind of bittering to help balance it out. Nice mouthfeel. Again, we're not expecting huge turbidity here. We're talking about a low ABV hazy. I think it's really tasty. I think it's really drinkable. I think it's something I can drink a couple of, and that's kind of the purpose when you get to this lower ABV threshold, is that it's something that if you're out and about, a barbecue, doing things like that, you have a couple of these. You don't feel worse for the wear as opposed to drinking 7, 8, 9% beers. Where does it sit for me? Because that's all there is to it. There's really not much else for me to say outside of it. Just all the citrus arbor on us. Drinks really nice. Has a really nice mouthfeel. Is it Mount Rushmore stuff? So we'll skip to that because I think that's a conversation to have here. No. And I know that sounds horrible. It's really tasty, and it's up there as far as low ABV hazies that I've had. But does it knock off the best of the best? For me, at least, the Snake Box of the world, the Pseudo Sues of the world, the Boats of the world, those beers. It's just, for me personally, it lacks a little bit of larger interplay between that fruity side of things, a little bit of ranky-dank side of things, and then it's just kind of a notch below for me. Very tasty. I will pick this up at its price point. I think it was $12.99 maybe. I paid for this. You're talking about I can get this level of impact and flavor and deliciousness at that price point of something I probably find on the reg, I would hope. It's something I would pick up, especially if I'm going out somewhere, I stop by a gas station, not over crazy bottle shop. I see this on a shelf, no hesitation on my part. But if we're really kind of ranking it against other beers, we don't really do a rating system here, but I have this internal ranking system. That's my Mount Rushmore, and it's just below those ones that really eke up on top of that mountain. Again, not a knock on this beer. It's very, very tasty. It's very hard to reach that pinnacle, at least my personal pinnacle, but it's very tasty stuff. I'd love to try it from the source. I'd love to try it hyper fresh. You're talking about, also keep in mind, we're talking about plus 3 months on this. So, who knows, a lot of these beers that come from out of state and they're distroed, sometimes they're not the best taken care of beers. They can sit in a warehouse and cook a little bit until they find a fridge, if they find a fridge at all. This one I got out of a fridge. But you're talking about a beer, low ABV, not sure how it's going to be treated, and at 3+ months old, it's still drinking this tasty. That's a very big plus. So, it's something like this. You see this on a shelf, it doesn't have a date. Kind of sucks that it doesn't have a date in the box, but if you're like me, I typically just open the box and look at one of the cans. I just didn't this time. I would have no problem drinking this beer. It's 3, 4, 5, 6 months old. Yeah, I think it's that stable of a beer. Let's put it that way. So there you go. Reviewing the books. Hopefully you all enjoyed. What else? Thin Man, have you been to the brewery? I've never been there, actually. One of my treks up into the Buffalo area was actually like pre-Thin Man existence. So I haven't been there, but have you? Have you been to the brewery? Do you dig the place? Have you been to a bunch of Mike's shops and stuff? What's that? Poor Man, maybe? More Pat. That's the one place I really dug when I was out there. I think that's one of his bars. Have you been to any of the locations? Have you had this beer specifically? Have you had it fresh? Had it new? All that fun stuff. Let's talk about it down there. So there you go. Reviewing the books. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of Thin Man right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.